Alright guys, here we go. We got the AGTA in the new ceramic wicks. These are the 3/32 wicks, and they are very small and they are fragile. I mean, this is the way these got to be tight. The coil's got to be tight on these, and I just don't know if there is a perfect way to do this. I know the drill bit method would be preferred because you don't have to apply any sideways force to it, but I just don't know of a way yet to make that work with getting the tension enough on them. So, you know, I do these like I do my stainless steel wicks. I just insert them into the device first and then wrap them, and you just got to be careful. I mean, you know, these wicks aren't going to be for everybody, but I promise you, if you've tasted them, you may try to find a way to make them work. But I just inserted it into the device, the top of the wick pretty much level with the top of the positive post. I have my 30 gauge wire already attached to the negative, and I like spinning the device. You know, I kind of spin the device to make the wraps. So here we go. I'm doing a 5 wrap, a 5 wrap on this 3/32 wick, which will come out to 1.2 ohms, and it works really well. So I'll see if I can get this to work on camera. And we're just holding the wire in place tight, snug should I say, while spinning the device. And once you get to an obstacle, like I've just spun it around and I'm hitting this other post here, I kind of take my finger right on that very first wrap that I just made and just kind of hold it there, keep the tension while I pull the wire on the other side of the positive post. Okay, now I take the finger off and continue spinning the device, making the wraps. Okay, so that's one. Continue spinning it until you hit the other obstacle. Then go ahead and just touch that wrap that you just made to kind of hold it from loosening. Come around, continue again, spinning the device. Finger on, around positive post. You know, and you're holding that wire in your fingers, obviously, so it doesn't slip. So all the tension on that wick is made from the spinning. So you can get to a point where you're just spinning and keeping everything snug, and you're not really putting a lot of pressure on that wick. So we're going to come around one more time, holding that last wrap, back around the positive post, and there's your final wrap right there. Okay, fingers on it so it doesn't loosen up, and I like just to come around the back side of the wick. We just went around that wick counterclockwise and around the positive post the opposite way. And once you got that the wire around the back of that wick and around the positive post the opposite direction, and just wrapped around the top of that post. It's kind of stay there. So you kind of let go of everything and kind of check it out. Okay. Now I still like using the washer on the top of these AGT8 because of the distance in between. But you can kind of see the wrap there. It's a 5 wrap on there, and I'm going to go ahead and put my little washer guy on there. And connect this top nut. And you can see what that washer does. It's a dark washer, but it adds about a good 1/16 of an inch over towards the wick, which really helps eliminate that top hot spot. So well known for the AGAT. Now this is where you got to be careful, because you're coming around the wick the opposite direction. As you tighten this nut, you will pull this wick over to the positive post, and with these little wicks on, you could probably snap that. So you just want to snug it up. To a point. And now what you'll do is you're going to go ahead and tighten up the nut below. Instead of tightening down, you're going to tighten up the second nut. So you want to hold that top nut and tighten up the one below it. Just make sure that top nut is just snug. And I just take, a pair of little hemostats to tighten up that nut. Now that's secure. That connection is good and tight. And that's it. I mean, you do have to be careful with them, but I think it's in that spinning, that rotating of the device itself, rather than trying to, take your fingers and go around the whole thing. So next we're going to just go ahead and cut the excess wires off. Let me pan out a little bit. And put it into the Pro-Vari. I got this on 3.7 volts, but I would think to start with the 1.2 ohm coil, we'll go ahead and lower it a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and put it on 3.2. But you want to just, before you do that, go ahead and, check your resistance. I just know that I've done that enough that where it's going to be, you know, 1.1, 1.2. And that's what this is reading right now, is 1.1 ohms. So we'll go ahead and put this on 3, we'll go 3 volts. Fire it up. Now this coil was a working coil, and I ripped it down to demonstrate. So it is broken in, and it's you know, it's been working, so it's wet. So that's what you're seeing, the vapor coming off of it right now. So that'll have to dry up a little bit and then see what the coils are doing. As you can see, I mean, there hasn't been one cut in this video, and those coils are looking pretty good. You know, so you can get them tight. You know, it's definitely all in the wrap there, and spinning that device. You know, maybe you could put a toothpick in there and try it a few times. But yeah, it's fragile wick. This is the 3rd or 4th time I've rewrapped it for different reasons, and haven't broke one yet. And for me, it's well worth it, because the flavor of this wick is just outstanding. And you know, like I said, it's not for everybody. You know, I mean, if someone's got heavy hands, you know, maybe they're gonna break more than, you know, it's worth. But we'll hit it up again. And she's firing. I mean, you don't have to sit here and drip juice on it and fiddle with it. I mean, if you get one coil that maybe is a little brighter than the other, I don't think it's as big a deal with the ceramic than the stainless steel. You're gonna get, you're not gonna get the short, you know, because it is ceramic. So I don't think the coil has to be as consistent. So you don't want to sit here and dry fire that thing up too many times. It looks really good. Everything is ready for juice. Actually, not enough juice. Pan out here. I'll put a little bit more juice in that baby. And we're going to vape that sucker. Sorry guys, this is my first attempt at this. I don't want to have to do a lot of editing, so I'm hoping just to put this thing together. And that's just the 3.1 volts it's still set on, so it's a 1.2 ohm coil. Let's put that thing to 3.7. I just passed it like twice. There we go. Power up. It was on 3. All right, 3.7. That thing is way too close. These wicks are awesome. I mean, they're just, the flavor is just unbelievable. They do take some time to break in. I would definitely recommend boiling the wicks for like 3 to 5 minutes and taking them out. I did a couple juice burns with them, put them in the device, and you got pretty good results right off the bat with them. I mean, they do take a good tank or so to really break in, but they're awesome. I mean, I really love the ceramic wicks. I'm not too sure about the 1.5 inch length for the AC9 that I have. I mean, that thing's probably going to reach in only halfway into the tank, you know. But if I'm getting these results out of the 3/32 wick, which is very touchy and fragile, and I think the 1/8 wick is going to be pretty good for my did. And maybe if I decide to drill out this AGAT for the 1/8 wicks, but they work great. Like I said, this wick has been in there a few, you know, probably 2 tanks. It's pretty much broken in. I'm going to go up to, we'll get 4 volts out of this baby. I mean, they don't work quite as well as the stainless steel in terms of actually wicking. You know, with my stainless steel, I could sit here, you know, vertically, press that button, and that, you know, vapor is just gonna, you know, keep coming until it's shut off on this ProVary, or with the mechanical mod, who knows how long. But these, you know, you do have to tilt them, you know, to get them wicking. I you know, tilt in this, you know, angle anyways. I mean, I don't know of anybody who would actually sit here and vape it like this. So to me, it doesn't matter. It's got to be tilted anyways. But 4 volts. I do notice that you're going to get, you know, the best performance when that tank is like 3/4 of the way full to, let's say, half full. Once it gets down half full, I don't know, it's a little bit, you know, this position, this position, this position, this position. There's give and takes to any, you know, these wicks and meshes and coils with, you know, these devices. You know, it's you know, there's just nothing been perfect yet. I don't think, you know, these things are still new, you know, they're still in their infancy as far as I'm concerned. So, you know, you're going to get better taste, in my opinion, out of the ceramic wicks, but may give up in another area, you know, like fragility, you know. I mean, these wicks aren't cheap, and, you know, but I think it's worth it, you know. Like I said, I think if you do the wrap correctly, you know, you're not going to break it, you know. But then again, I've always done my wraps that way, you know. I mean, for months and months and months, I've basically only done that type of wrap where, you know, the coil's been wrapped with the wick in the device. So, you know, I guess I've got the touch for it. You know, for those who have maybe done the drill bit method and are switching to these and now have to wrap the device a different way, it may break them, you know, I don't know. So, you know, it's one of those give and takes, but, I mean, that's four chain vapes right there. It's beautiful. You know, it's about all I have to give right now for the ceramic. It's they recommend maybe wrapping the wick first and then inserting it into the device. I tried that the first go around, and by the time I got it into the device, you lost some of the, you know, the tension on the wire, and I just wasn't getting a good seat with it. I found this to be the best way so far. I did try messing with it with the drill bit method, thinking that, you know, maybe I can get, instead of the 3/32 size that the wick is, I went to a 5/64, you know, the next size down, and tried to take the wick and slide it in there, and I just couldn't get it to work. I got it halfway, and then it wouldn't go through the bottom coils, and who knows if it would have been, you know, a good tension anyways. But like I say, I've done this 4 times now this way, and thankfully I haven't broken a wick yet. And I think if you can do this with the smaller wicks, the 1/8 for sure shouldn't be a problem. But then again, who knows, you know. I don't know if this has helped, you know, but I just want to get it out there in case maybe not too many of you have wrapped a wick inside the device. Maybe that little bit of turning, you know, the device itself, you know, you can control the tension more on the wick, and maybe it wouldn't break so easy. But something you got to give a try. I really like these ceramics. I think they're, you know, the flavor is by far better than stainless steel. And that 30 gauge is pretty sweet on here. 30 gauge 5 wrap gives you about 1.2 ohms. Give it a try. Thanks guys. Vape Diver out.